Shannon from Creative Chaos in Tennessee, and I know it's been a hot minute. I'm running behind once again. I'm hoping to be done with these album kits very soon and have all of that out of my way so that I can get back to creating content and staying on top of things. I know it's busy with the holiday season, so I will go ahead and say Happy Thanksgiving. I'm not sure. Maybe there'll be one more video, maybe post before Thanksgiving. So either way, so this is going to be Shake It, Scrap It, Create It for last week, week 46. The prompts were fussy cutting, the number 7, and vellum. And I'm also doing my DIY embellishment series. I owe y'all last week and today, if you're watching this on Saturday, whenever it posts. And I'm also combining this with the Iron Crafter. It was, the goal was to use washi tape, 52 weeks, how to kill a kit with style, and I feel like there was something else. Striptease the scrapbook way, and I totally goofed that up. I will show you guys my other layout, or I'll pop it up, a picture of it up here on the screen, because actually I got the prompts mixed up for the next big thing and striptease last week, and so yeah. So I just created it early. That's the only thing I've been early for lately. So anyways, if you leave a comment on this video, you will be entered to win. I'm going to draw 2 winners from this video since I have 2 different embellishments pieces to give away. So first up, oh, and my main thing this week is, I haven't had a lot of time for creating, so I was excited to actually work on something other than Christmas albums and actually make my embellishment pieces, which is something I haven't been doing a lot of lately, to actually create a layout. But I wanted to show you guys how using embossing folders can take your embellishments to the next level. So everybody knows, you know, I like to add my pen work, things like that. But using embossing folders strategically can change the whole look of your piece. So I did use several different embossing folders. I don't have a lot, so, but here's this one, and it's just leaves. And then I have the wood grain. I have this with the floral pattern. I have these circles, and I put paper in this one so that you could see it, but I know it's still hard to see. But I don't know what this is called. It's almost kind of like a chevron pattern, but I don't know that it's actually called a chevron pattern. But anyways, that's my embossing folders I use. So here's my pieces. Look at this turkey. This is a turkey from Treasure Box Designs. I don't know the name of it, but I'll link it below in the description box. So if you want to go grab it, you can. But I use the leaf embossing folder. I used this one on his feathers. And he just wore out from, you know, just dealing with Thanksgiving. Kind of like I feel. I ended up making a title to go with it. And it says, I'm stuffed. And this is the piece you'll get together. This is one entry for a winner. And I ended up creating a layout using my set of pieces, because I made you one and me one. And you can see I embossed. This is a sketch I have done before from Scrapbook Generations, and it was paid content, so I can't show you the sketch, but I love it. And I said when I used it before that I would use it again. I used my punches. I got my turkey. I used some stickers up. I fussy cut my flowers. I used some washi, glitter washi that I had. And I used 7 sequins on my page. And I did not use vellum. So it is what it is, y'all. Like, I can't do everything. I just couldn't make it work on here. But I'm planning on adding pictures from Thanksgiving this year on here. So that's my layout. And then this is my other piece that I created. This is my second embellishment giveaway that you can be entered to win. And I use lots of different embossing folders. This is a pattern from Little Scraps of Heaven's Design. I'll link it below. They are going out of business at the end of the year, and they were the very first site I ever bought one of these from. I didn't even have a machine. I barely had a printer with ink, but she sold it comes with the pattern, like literally a paper pattern you can print out, cut, and trace, and make your own. And there was a set of bears on there. They're called Rustic Bears. It is the first one I ever bought and put together by copying and tracing them out on the colored paper. And they looked horrible. I do not have them. Maybe I have them in an album or something, but I don't know. I want to say maybe I gave them away. I don't know, but I thought they were horrible. But I actually bought the file because they have them on sale. So I'm not sponsored or anything in any way with them. But every file is like $1.50 on her site. And if you spend $25, you get it half off. So I bought some new files, and this was one of them. And this one actually has a lot of little pieces. But I thought it was adorable. Let's see if I can put it on a sheet of white to show it better. It's super cute. And for my fox here, I used the circle embossing folder. And y'all know I also used dimensional pop tape to pop some stuff up. And then on my sunflower here, I used this little floral one. And I was very strategic in how I laid it in here, because I wanted the center of the flower to be the center of there. So like I laid it just like right in here on one of these. And then I did the wood grain for the sign. And then I did that chevron looking pattern for the pumpkin. And then for my leaf, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually used the leaf one. And again, I was super strategic whenever I put them in so that the lines could be going the correct way to make it actually look like the little veins in the leaf. So whenever I laid it down, I made sure it was going the correct way and right on it. So that's just an easy way to take things to the next level with your embellishments. And I have one, I guess I'll put it together. If you don't want to watch me put it together, totally skip. And I'll see you later. But here's the pieces for the turkey. This one's a turkey. So I already did ink. I did ink everything, and I am already embossed on here. But let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. I'm going to move this over here so that you guys can see what's going on a little bit better. Alright, so this is the main piece. This, the only downfall to the treasure box patterns, in my opinion, is a lot of them do not have bases to build on. So some people love that and some people do not. There's been times I did wish I had a base to build on. It would have been so much easier to have, you know, a little back base just to know where everything goes, you know, which spot everything goes in. But it is what it is. So we've got feet and the little drumsticks. We have the beak. And this one is a really simple, and this is just like the little patches on its butt to give it that country look. I think this one's called Country Cutie Turkey, or maybe it's not. I could be wrong. And then I have some little small googly eyes, but that's the eyes that's supposed to go on it, and I didn't use them on there. But y'all know whenever I create, I like to put everything together that I can first. So, like the beak. So let's do the beak first. So it's going to go this direction. And I already got some foam tape on here, but I like to add a little bit of glue, because whenever it's moving around and all that stuff, sometimes it can come off and you'll have a hand missing or a nose or something like that. Ask me how I know. So with these, you just kind of have to guesstimate. And my biggest tip would be to download the picture whenever you buy the file. Download the picture to go with it, and go off based on that picture, like where it's at. Like with these, I had to look because I originally put it way down here, and I was like, those legs look really long. And then I realized the little fur part, or I guess feathers part that's on here, is supposed to be partially like what I would call the knee. But I guess it actually is the drumstick of the turkey. But anyways, okay, so there's those parts. Here's this nose part. And then, actually, we need to put the little gobbler on there. So, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue here. Hopefully I'm in frame, because I'm just, like, all over the place here, and I can't see my screen now. Are you guys ready for the holidays? How many of y'all eat turkey? Raise your hand. We have turkey and ham for Thanksgiving, and because we have more ham eaters than turkey, so for Christmas we have ham and turkey also. Because we have family members that won't eat ham, but they'll eat turkey, and then most of them don't eat turkey, but they eat ham, so we always buy 2 hams and 1 turkey. And I, of course, always host the dinner. Okay, so next up, I'm going to add my feathers on here. And like I said, go by the picture, and you can see what goes where. You can always change your colors. Me and my friend was actually video chatting while I was making this, and she was making it too, and it was amazing. We was talking about how it's so amazing that you can have the exact same file, you know, the exact same everything, even paper collection, and you'll still come up with something completely different than each other. So she ended up making 2 turkeys, and 2 different ones. Well, they was the same turkey, you know, but you know what I mean. She used different papers and stuff. But, and I did mine, and like her first round, she tried to base it on the colors I was also using. But our turkeys turned out completely different. And I'm like, that is what always amazes me about the crafty community, and that's why we can get inspiration from each other, because we can have the exact same file, the exact same paper pack, and whenever we create our stuff, it's still going to look different. And, you know, I was telling her, we was talking, because we've been friends for a very, very long time. We actually met through the crafty Yahoo groups, in a scrapbook group, and we were talking about how much our style has changed since we first started, because we both are really long-term scrappers, like 27, 28 years. And I was like, we was talking about supplies and stuff, that what you had available back in the day. Okay, I'm gonna put his patches on his butt now, but we were talking about what you had available back in the day. like, you didn't necessarily have a lot of stuff to work with. And I was like, do you remember the days of, you know, we would buy markers and colored paper just so we could have different colors, because me and her both live in really small towns. So, you know, all we had was a Walmart, and they weren't big on the crafting supplies. And I was like, remember when we used to go get paint chips? We used to use paint chips to craft with, and like, it's still a thing, I guess. I mean, I see it sometimes, but I'm like, it just blows my mind how far we've come. And I told her, I said, okay, I was like, before the beginning of the year, because, you know, after Christmas, there's usually a little bit of downtime and we get to craft together for a few days. And I was like, before the end of the year, let's take and recreate our very first layout. Like, I think it would be so fun. And I will probably end up, oh, I put this one down too far. I'll probably end up issuing the challenge over on my Facebook group. So if you're interested, by all means, come over there. I need to put my legs on first. Just kidding. See, I got yapping and I almost messed up. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of these. But I think it would be fun if you have your first layout, or you have a picture of your first layout, and you want to play along with my challenge that I'm going to issue. Take and start locating it or finding the picture of it so that you can recreate your layout. She was like, I cut my pictures into shapes and everything. And I was like, so did I. I was like, my very first layout was a caterpillar 2-page 12x12 layout. And I cut circles and I cut my photos into circles. And that was my very first layout. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see a recreation. Of course, I'm going to use, you know, different photos. But, okay. Now this goes on. But I think it will be fun. And I'm going to have to stick a piece of paper over that now. Let's see here. This is what I usually do if I have a piece. You could totally use powder or your little powder tool or whatever to unsticky it, but it works just as well for me to just stick a piece of scrap paper over it. You ain't going to see the back anyways, so, you know. Okay, so now I'm going to add my wings on here. And like I said, I've already made quite a few of these now, so I kind of know where everything goes. But you have to just kind of go with the picture. Like if you're looking at it, the legs were all the way at the bottom of the feathers, and they're sticking out just a little bit past the feathers. And then, so that kind of tells you how to put the legs. And then you put your body on, of course. And it's going to be down a little bit more, and then your wings are going to go on. And then you're going to put your head on. And I popped it up on foam tape. Y'all know I like dimensions, so all of mine have a little extra in between the layers. So I would love to see if you guys create any embellishments using your embossing folders. Post them over on the group. Everyone would love to see it, and so that we can get inspiration from you guys. Like I said, I always get inspired seeing what y'all create. And then you're going to put your nose on. And you can just see where it lines up on the face. It's the same exact shape. And then you're just going to put your little eyes on there. But before I do that, let me grab my chalk. So this is just my chalk. It's really old. I think this is actually from Close to My Heart. And I just put a little bit of cheeks over here, right above his beak. I don't know how well y'all can actually see that, but it adds just that little extra finishing touch for him. And then you're going to put your eyes. Get the googly eyes. He would look cute, I think, with bigger googly eyes too, but I just wanted to stay with the small ones. You could even draw him some eyelashes and make it look, well, I don't think girl turkey, I don't know. Does girl turkeys have all the pretty feathers too? I don't know. Okay, but anyways, you could draw some eyelashes on it and pretty it up and, you know, all the things. So there's our turkey. And then y'all know my last thing is I like to do the pen work on it. So I just went through and did pen work right over top of my embossing and all that. You just have to be careful because your pen will get in a groove and it'll be like so you just got to kind of press down, be a little bit rough with it, and it's okay. You could probably even do your pen work before you emboss, but I wouldn't recommend it because it kind of makes it go away. That's why I like to ink after. I also like to ink after I emboss, because if not, it kind of fades it out more. I guess where it goes down in the cracks or something. I don't know. So I just drew some little, you know, stitch marks on the little patches. And then doodled in his little hair a little bit. Or I guess feathers. And then made him some little marks. And around his wings. And his drumsticks. And y'all know, anything I make, I gotta add freckles. And he's so cute. I love it, love it, love it. Oh, I didn't do his cheeks. Just kidding. Well, I don't think it's his cheeks, but his beak, I guess. But that is pretty much the little turkey done. And I probably should have zoomed in more so y'all could see it even better, but here it is. And he's so cute. Alright, so if you want to win him, all you have to do is leave a comment on this video. Like I said, this little fox is also up for grabs. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this and that it inspires you to pull out your embossing folders and use them on your embellishments to take them to the next level. So let me know, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all. Just kidding. We got a shake for Shake It, Scrap It, Create It. I forget every week. I'm getting so out of the groove. Ugh, all I got is Christmas on my mind, y'all. Okay, so we need to shake for next week's prompts. There is 3 prompts, normally shook for every Sunday, but I'm behind. So tomorrow there'll be a new set of prompts, and I'll tell y'all right now, it may come out tomorrow and it may come out in a few days. Oh, irony, irony. Okay, embossing folder for next week's prompt, so get it out and use it. If you don't have anything, any prompts that get pulled, like one time my machine broke, so I couldn't use my embossing folder, so I had to get creative, and I ended up spritzing my paper with water and used a rolling pin to emboss it. But either way, you can always substitute. I always say I'm not the craft police. This is just to get you inspired and use your supplies. Cardstock. You can use that for embellishments too. You also do not have to create a layout for Shake It, Scrap It, Create It. You can make an embellishment. You can make a card. You can make a junk journal page. Whatever your heart desires. shapes, colors, numbers. If you come over and post it on the Facebook group into the folder for the month, you will be entered to win Happy Mail. And a rectangle. So rectangle, cardstock, and embossing folder are prompts for last week. Tomorrow there will be new prompts, but they'll all go into the November album. So rectangle, cardstock, embossing folder. Thank you guys. Bye.